but everybody who watches the show on the internet up until about a month ago got the exact same show as the radio. Now some things have gone messed up with some audio interfaces that I have, and now I'm not giving you guys the show that we were exactly, but you're still hearing the information online. You just don't hear the extra music in the background and things like that. I was trying to involve that stuff starting now today. I was trying to I had an idea, but it obviously didn't work. But here we are. Here we are. Kels, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not even going to be here to hear because as I was plugging everything in, my notes and my phone are over but underneath that camera, the studio camera. So, I mean, let's start off on Saturday's games. What what was the biggest takeaway you had from this weekend's slate of college football games?
I mean, I would have to say I'm not sure who's gonna be in the top 5 by week 8, 9, or 10.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
mean,
don't know who's legit and who's not.
it's tough to see who's legit, who's not. And this past weekend, though there were some maybe like there are some ranked teams that maybe didn't turn it on until the end of the game. Um, but some of these teams are going up against somewhat like some of them were rivalry games, and sometimes you got to throw almost everything away when you go up against rivalries because you've played them so much. You've played the coaching staff. I mean, there's just so much information that sometimes the actual ranked team may not even throw everything they have out towards the rival because they never want to give up too much information. Now, that being said, the thing that I was looking at is a ranked opponent early on that wasn't going up against a rival. I don't know if you you feel what
Alabama.
I'm going. Alabama. Now these small Florida schools have been gaining traction year after year. I mean, it's not like we haven't heard of these small Florida schools, the UCF, the SUF. I mean, all these small Florida schools are slowly building their programs up. But when you get to a point where you've built your program up and now you got Alabama, and I mean, the game, in my opinion, was too close for Alabama. Now, is it the recruiting of all these other schools are starting to get more NFL ready players? The recruiting's getting diluted, or is Nick Saban just losing his touch, you think?
So me and my buddy, who's an Alabama fan, we were talking about this yesterday on our way over to Hilton Head, and
Yeah.
I was hoping we got to talk about this, me and you. I think it's the talent's being spread out more now because of the NIL and the transfer portal, and I absolutely think that you can go to other schools and still be recruited to the NFL now, as opposed to just being having to be at a powerhouse, whether it's SEC at Alabama or for years they said you want to be at Ohio State or Penn State if you're in the Big Ten, stuff like that. Now it seems like as long as you're shining,
Yeah.
you know, as long as you got the skill set, you can bring it every week. And then also it's just there's more talent everywhere right now with the NIL on top of the transfer portal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's good for football. It's good for football. This is what we want.
Yeah. I agree with you.
You want your talent all over the place. Look, Texas is back. You know what I mean? I know they struggled with Miami in the first 3 quarters, but they ended up shelling them in the fourth. But it just nobody knows at this point. I think where the top 5 teams will be in, like I said, week 8, 9, or 10, which is kind of nice, isn't it? There's talent in the Pac-12. There's talent in the Big Ten. There's talent in the SEC. There's talent in the ACC, even without Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it extremely exciting when you're watching these games. And I mean, like Florida, everybody's counting Florida out, and then they take on a Tennessee team that doesn't look like they've changed anything from last year's play calling, except the players.
Mm-hmm.
The wide receivers and the quarterback, they're not coaching a team right there that's in Tennessee right now.
Yeah.
They're still coaching last year's team, expecting these guys who aren't developed as well as Hooker and the wide receivers, but they're calling the same plays. And they got no wide receivers that can get deep because they're all so young and they're just learning the college game. It's it tells you a lot when you really look at the game and you're like, wow, these coaches can only coach one style. They don't evolve, which you need to be able to evolve so much in college football. Because you never know who you're going to have. And now that you got the NIL, the transfer portal, you got prime time in Colorado.
Oh, my God. What a game.
Guys don't want to go just play for Nick Saban. They see that there are multiple opportunities for them to get to the league. And maybe, maybe that money in Alabama is getting a little spread thin. And I mean, Colorado is making money hand over fist right now. And NIL deals are just crazy.
I mean, and then look at this too, which is what I always talk about. Like, I'm glad you brought up Florida. Florida is a dangerous 2-1 team right now because look how hard their schedule was out the gate.
Yeah.
Utah's tough. They've been tough for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
They got a good head coach, and they're getting recruits now and people out of the transfer portal as well. And, so they had to start off with Utah, and then I don't know who they played second, but I know they played Tennessee third, and that's 2 top 15 teams in 3 weeks. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what we were talking about that earlier about like that what was it, the LSU Florida State game, where they just started the season off like bam, big guns going against big guns. And yep. I mean, it's not something you're super used to seeing in college football.
No. And I'm glad you brought up that game, too, because I've been talking about how good LSU's quarterback can be. He had a really good game last week. But, FSU's got talent now. But look at how close their game was with Boston College because they have that quarterback that transferred in.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I'm still like – I'm trying to find it. But I don't know. First look – they haven't played anybody, but Ohio State still is eye-catching to me. from
Yeah.
all the wide receivers they have. I'm really excited to see this game, Ohio State versus Notre Dame. It'll give us a chance to see who these teams really are. So I'm
Notre Dame's another good one. They're kind of flying under the radar right now because
yeah,
everybody's so used to them just fizzling out after week 5, 6, or 7. But if they beat Ohio State, I mean, then next thing you know, they go on a run. They're right back in the mix.
yeah, yeah, they really are. I mean, everybody's all about. Know what shocked me? I gotta spin down on this list and see who.
Yeah. Well, while you're looking, the other thing that shocked me too was Missouri is a sleeper team of mine, and they already were because of how well they played us last year. They were one of our hardest games last year. Did you see that kicker hit that 61-yard game-winning field goal?
I didn't. I'm about to right now.
Yeah, 61-yard field goal to end the game against number 15 Kansas State.
Okay, they're trying to sell me something right now. Obviously,
of course.
I'm guessing it's a candy bar. All right, let's see it. 27-27, playing number 15. Oh, right down the middle.
Right down the middle, absolute boot.
That's huge. So where's that put Kansas State now? Do you know? Does that knock them out?
If I had my iPad, I would look. If it's me, I rank Missouri now. I think Missouri goes to being ranked, and then you either put Kansas State out or somewhere around like 22 to 25, in my opinion. Because was the game in Missouri?
I'm not sure. I think it was.
That's a hard place to play.
I'm picturing that stadium.
That is I don't know why it is because we just added Missouri a few years back to the SEC, but people talk about it. That is a hard place to play. They got good fans there.
Yeah, and the game that I was trying to find was the Tennessee Florida game because Florida wins. Tennessee drops so far down in the rankings, but I mean, and they rank them so close, it just doesn't make sense to me that they would rank Florida 25 and Tennessee would get like 23 ranking.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, but them being so close, and if the people making the rankings actually saw what I saw out there, that this is not gonna. I don't see this changing. But I mean, it sets up a good match for week 4 when we're talking about Colorado. Colorado going to Oregon. Oregon's been a team that's been in the making for so long. We've seen numerous NFL players come through there. Colorado, everybody, there are two people. Everybody's watching Colorado right now. Either you're watching them because it's an exciting atmosphere, and up to this point, they have been an exciting team to win. I mean, Shedeur Sanders, Deion's son, says about this past weekend, I have to go into Brady mode. All the while people who know that he's being mentored by Tom Brady as well. And then he makes a 98-yard drive. So the excitement's there. I mean, you up until and if he hit, Travis Hunter is being talked about as Heisman potential, playing both sides of the field.
That was a dirty hit.
Yes,
Not an iffy hit. That was a dirty hit.
it was a dirty hit.
Because they were already mad at each other earlier in the game at midfield. So you know what that was.
Yeah.
You
he
could say
came.
it. That was a dirty hit.
He came and clobbered Hunter
He knew he missed that
from
ball.
the side.
He knew he missed that ball.
The ball was like 2 to 3 feet in front of him.
In the sideline. It was in the sidelines when he hit him.
Even if he caught the ball,
he didn't need to hit him like
that. He would have taken a step out. If he caught the ball, it would have been a it would have had to have been an ejection, because if Hunter caught that ball, he would have taken a step out. And by the time he got clobbered. So now, even though Colorado has been wowing the world, has been showing, I mean, they took over.
I'm a fan.
I am a huge fan. And I'm saying, the people like us who want to see all this, who want to see the excitement, what Deion is doing there, and how he's motivating and helping coach these young men. So now they're down. I mean, possibly like their number 2 receiver and their best cornerback. But and speaking of defenses, that pick that Deion's other son, who plays defense, had is
huge.
That was huge. Yeah. So we got this, but then there's that other handful of people who are just waiting. They've been talking about it. Oh, they're waiting for Colorado to fall flat on their face so they can say, "I told you so." The thing is, this was a 1-win program last year, and they came through dominating for 3 weeks. Their quarterback has over 1,000 yards. Like, I mean, the yardage is just spilling out of this team. Yeah, their offense and defensive line are averagely smaller than a lot of the other Power 5 teams. It's year one. Like,
thank you.
No matter what happens, this team has won this season.
Already tripled their wins.
Deion's sunglasses made like over 12 million over this weekend because of all the talk about how. And the thing is, like, yeah, Deion, he's a persona, like hat, sunglasses for interviews, yeah. But if you really pay attention to Deion, when most of the time he's addressing his team in the locker room and he's talking or given them a speech or something, most of the time his hat and sunglasses are off then. So it's like, come on, man. Like, he is prime time. He has been prime time my entire life.
Yep.
I mean, in my eyes, he invented wearing sunglasses at night. I know there's a song that's out before him, but the thing is, Deion has always caught way too much hate for being a little more flamboyant or being a little more like showboaty than people.
Yeah. Overexpressive and whatever you want to call it. But he's just being him. You know what I mean?
He's being him.
He's him.
He's the original him. Deion is the original him. I mean, there's nothing you can say about it. You can say all you want, but in every stage of his career, of his life, he has been him.
Yeah.
He takes over. He's been there. He's done that. And now he's coming back and doing it again. So give him a couple years coaching at one program, and he will have all those big guys. But I'm still not counting Colorado out this weekend. Their defense is fast. They hit hard. They're going to be disciplined this weekend. It's an easy game for Oregon, being 21-point favorites.
Yeah.
To get a little feeling themselves this weekend, this whole week, being like, oh, we're gonna take them down. We're good. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be another hugely watched game. Can you imagine any other team in the country that won one game last year that has now, it's week 4, and this is their 4th broadcasted, like nationally broadcasted? I mean, they get their first 2 games, I believe, are on Fox. Third game's on ESPN. Now they're going over to ABC, I believe. I mean, Colorado is they hired Deion Sanders not having anywhere close to the amount of money that they offered him in his contract. I don't want to say they've doubled it yet, but I bet you in 2 weeks they would have made enough money to pay Deion. And granted, all that money that they're making right now, coming from boosters, coming from ticket sales and stuff, it's not all going to go straight to the football program. It gets split throughout all the sports, but the thing is, this is it's nowhere near done.
No.
Okay, so Colorado, people think they'll probably lose against Oregon. They'll probably lose against USC. Then they go on another run. I mean, if Colorado loses 4 games this season, I believe it's hard for me to even put the over-under at 4. But it's hard for me to believe that Colorado doesn't get a bowl game this year.
That's what I was just about to say. No matter how many games they lose, a team that won 1 game last year, they already have an over 50% chance to make a bowl, and they haven't even played half their schedule.
Yeah. I mean, I would put it down right now that I believe Colorado's in a bowl. I mean, it doesn't make – if they lost every game from here on out, it doesn't really make sense not to put them in a bowl. I doubt that would ever happen. They're a lot better of a team than that. But just the draw, I'm looking down here. They got 6 games all season that are to be determined as time and whatnot. 6 games that aren't already scheduled for national broadcast. I bet you most of those 6 games will be nationally broadcast, because one of those 6 is already USC, Colorado. And I don't see that not getting broadcast, especially if this game's close.
You know the scary part is? These guys are still learning how to be like it's their first year. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're still learning.
It's their 3rd game. They've only played 3 games together.
And Sanders is out there looking like an absolute monster, man. Like his talent and his skill set. I got to see him run a little bit this week.
Yeah.
You know, I got to see him roll out he throws the football so well.
His rolling
from
out and
fundamentals.
his scrambling is like the. Now I didn't watch this this past weekend because 10 o'clock. I mean, it's
It
late
finished
for me.
late. It finished late.
But they drew more. Usually the 10 o'clock games forgotten about, but they drew more viewers than the classic Tennessee Florida battle. Like that's like huge numbers put in the 7 o'clock spot to get maximum viewers, but everybody watched the Colorado game. I mean, everybody, stars, athletes. I mean, they were in the stadium.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is amazing. And let me see if I can pull it up real quick, because I know the first game that Colorado played against TCU, like barely any penalties. So I'm trying to see if I can find penalties.
Oh, penalties against Colorado?
Yeah.
They're very disciplined. Too.
Yeah, very disciplined. And like you were saying, 3 games. This is going to be something special. Deion's already said he doesn't want to go to the NFL. It'd be hard for me to see him not go to and this is like dreamland, but like it'd be hard for me to not see him go to the NFL if Shedeur got picked up by the Cowboys and Jerry Jones offered him a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
But I mean, because he's been coaching his son or all his sons for so long.
Or the Falcons.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, he doesn't have to, like, with NIL, there's no salary cap in college football. Like, he can recruit, and he is the type of person. Like, I always thought that, like, Rex Ryan or Ray Lewis would be like perfect college coaches because the way they talk and the way they get you amped up. And like, I always think that recruiting's so huge in college campuses, on college teams, but I never thought of Deion because I always thought he was doing his own thing, like being huge everywhere else. Like, I guess I always imagined he'd be more of an actor or something when I was younger, but like having Deion come to your house and recruit you has got to feel great.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I'm all on this ride for Colorado. I'm excited to see how it goes. Tough games, and everybody's gonna be going after them with bullseyes on their back. But
100%. And I mean, look, if they lose this game against Oregon, I wouldn't be surprised, just like I wouldn't be surprised if they won it. But Oregon is a good program.
yeah.
And you know, their coach has now got to settle in, who used to be our defensive coordinator. The guy knows football too. So this is going to be a heck of a good matchup this week. I'm excited to see it.
You got Bo Nix, who's been killing it as a quarterback for the last decade in college.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, you know, I gotta get my jabs in. It's funny. I was saying, I was razzing somebody up about Bo Nix being so old, and they're getting so mad. And I start doing some digging into it, and Bo Nix isn't even the oldest, longest playing college football player. There's a guy who used to be a tight end for Oregon, and now he's playing in Miami. He's broken his knee or busted his Achilles. Like, his legs just aren't made for football, and he's going down like 3 years in a row, and he actually got what he got the waiver or whatever they do by the NCAA that he's actually eligible to technically play 9 seasons in college because he's lost so much time. And the thing is, it's all happened, I believe, like first or second game of the season. So he's played like 5 years or something like that, maybe 6 years, and he's probably only been in 4 games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are things like that, but yeah.
Plus, I mean, we saw what happened with Stetson. You know, like now he's backing up Stafford and he's on the Rams and whatnot. I mean, you know, the way Bo Nix, if he has a good year, you know, knock on wood for him, even if they don't win every game, I feel like some scouts may look at him in this coming draft. You know, if he I think he has to go after this year if he wants it.
Yeah. He has to go, and I believe he's going to be somewhere. Like I don't think he's not going. If a team's smart, I think he goes somewhere that's going to sit him behind somebody for a year or two. Now, when we talk about Sanders, I think a team would be willing to just take him and just start him and be like, he's still young, he's still learning, and he's gonna catch on fast.
Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson.
Exactly. Oh man, we'll talk about those guys right after this station break. And I want to remind you, you're listening to the Bring It In Show on WRUULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. Welcome back to the Bring It In Show, Kels. I'm trying to contain my excitement. it's been since 2016 since the Orioles have made the playoffs.
Let's go.
Everybody who lives around the stadium or studio probably just heard me. I
That's
wouldn't
fine.
be surprised if we hear some banging on the floor. But
Glenn, extra
man.
O's on Let's Go.
Oh, let's go, hon. Yeah, you know about that. You know about that. Man, and things are clicking perfect. They just had that 4-game series against Tampa Bay, where Tampa Bay was trying to inch their way. They won the first 2, trying to inch their way into first place of the division. Orioles take on the last 2. I mean, 2 nights ago, Grayson Rodriguez, the youngster, absolutely, he started off shaky this year. They sent him back down to the minors, brought him back in, and every start, it seems like he is finding himself a little better, which is perfect going in. We got about 13 games left. The American League East is so close up at the top that it's going to take about 11 games, most likely, to figure out who's going to win this division. Orioles have the lead, have the edge. No more games against Tampa Bay, so it was huge that they won those last 2. And it was technically in about the 7th inning, I believe, yesterday when the Orioles clinched. But because of other teams' games, the Rays clinched at the exact same time.
Of course.
But we're playing in Camden Yards, so it's not like there were a bunch of flashing things saying Tampa Bay clinched. We left all that out. But, man, it's super exciting. I'm pumped. The team is so young. This week, they brought Adam Jones back, classic center fielder. He was on the team last time the Orioles made the playoffs. Came back, signed a 1-year deal so he could put the Orioles jersey on one last time and make sure that that's the last jersey he ever wears. So he'll be getting up there in the Hall of Fame for the Orioles and things like that. But I'm just super, super pumped. I mean, this is the best Orioles team I've ever gotten to watch through the season. Like, even the last couple times they made the playoffs, this is the best Orioles team I've ever seen, and it makes me so excited because everybody on this team is young. There's no huge star that needs to be paid. I mean, there will be guys that need to be paid.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But at the moment, everybody's young and everybody's excited. So, I mean, the Braves are scary. Tampa Bay is good.
Yep.
Houston's good. I mean,
Dodgers.
there are a lot. Dodgers. So it's not going to be easy, but at the same time, the Orioles have been playing these guys. They've lost, they've won against all these teams that they'll have to go against. They were the first team in this season, but this being the first season that every team played every other team, they were the first team to beat every team at least once. So, yeah, it's so exciting right now in the world of baseball, and we're just inching up. Like I said, about 13 games left, I think. So I'm excited about that. But now that I talked about the Orioles so much, I'll jump over to why you're all here, because we got all the best info from the NFL.
That's right.
Kels, we did a top 5, bottom 5 of the NFL last week, and a lot of them seem like they're legit.
Yeah.
I'm really focused tonight on being a division game. The Browns versus the Steelers. And when I say being a division game, a division game in the division
Yeah.
that the Ravens
Rivalry.
Yeah, this is a huge rivalry. It's every single team in this division feels like it's a huge rivalry, but this is the classic rivalry. Border bash.
Yep.
And these teams, from what I see, I expected these teams to go into this game opposite. Opposite how I say, I expected the Steelers to have the edge. I expected the Steelers to have the win, and I expected the Browns to have the loss. Both teams good. Are they? The Browns looked really good last week. The Steelers, not so much. What are you expecting to see through this?
I had the Steelers in the bottom. Show me something that puts you in the middle of the pack. Because as of right now, I'm looking at mine, and I don't see why I would be changing anything. You know what I mean? Broncos, Panthers, Steelers, Giants, Cardinals. Giants got to win, but weren't they playing the Cardinals?
Yeah, and the Cardinals. The Cardinals belong down there still because, they barely lost to the Giants, but at one point you look at the score, and I believe it may have already been 28-0, and they allowed the Giants to come back in. The
Same
Giants,
thing, Broncos with the Commanders.
Yeah,
finish the game, man. Finish the
game. That game was the end of that game. That Broncos Commanders game was like, are both teams trying to just let the other team win?
Yeah.
Until that last drive. Like, where'd that come from?
That game made no sense, man.
Where did that come from? You could have done this 3 drives ago and had plenty of time on the clock to be able to. It made no sense to me. None whatsoever.
But yeah, man, I see the Browns beating the Steelers tonight.
Yeah. I think it's going to end up another close game just because it's the division rivalry. But I think I see the Browns beating the Steelers as well. The Chargers, I think I put the Chargers up in the top last week because they played
good against the Dolphins.
Yeah, and then they lost at the end. But after this Titans game, because I'm still trying to figure out if the Titans, they should be good, but I'm still skeptical about them. But the Chargers losing by 3 points to the Titans, that's why you have a kicker, not why you have one of the highest paid quarterbacks. So, after seeing this, I think the Chargers are still who I thought they were last year.
Yeah, they just got to get one W, and I think they start to put it together. I do move them out of my top, and I'll keep everybody that's in my top. Like, even though the Lions lost, we know how good the Seahawks can be.
Yeah.
And it was a very competitive game. I felt like the Lions didn't play great either, and they still had a chance there. So I keep the Lions there. I pull the Chargers out, and I'm gonna say you guys are running your division. I'll put your Ravens up there in the 5th spot.
Okay.
And put the Chiefs in the 4th spot because I think they have played absolutely atrocious, and they're only going to get better. And I'll put your Ravens at 5. I mean, you could flip any of the 3 to 5s with Lions, Chiefs, Ravens, but the Dolphins and the Cowboys are scary right now because the Dolphins played like hot garbage at points in that game, and they still won while running the ball a lot with Mostert.
That's why I was gonna say Dolphins are my number one team going up against a team that's coached like the Patriots may not be that good, but the coaching is what sets them apart. It's been one of the things that's always set them apart. But when the Patriots take away your strongest asset of a team, and then you just like, oh, you didn't realize we do have a running back and he's going to eat better than any running back this week because you want to take our passing away. Like that makes me be like, the Dolphins are legit.
Oh, they absolutely are, and their defense is very stingy.
Yeah.
The defense, they need to get some things fixed, but they fixed it 1 week to the second. So I think they're just going to progressively get better. And I also saw a stat on ESPN last night that they have 4 guys that can run sub 4.3 40s in pads. So 4 guys. Mostert's one, obviously the cheetah, Tyreek Hill, Waddle,
Yeah.
everybody knows that. But then they got some track star guy that they've been putting in the slot and throwing at running back and stuff. Watch out for him. He's going to be good, they say. So, and that guy apparently has the fastest 100 track stat out of all 4 of them.
Is
the new guy.
Is that Archan?
Yeah, something with an A. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I have the ESPN fact checker sitting. I don't even have my iPad on me. But I did see ESPN said that they have 4 guys, and I was like, well, who's the 4th? It's that new guy. He was some track star.
Okay, because
they starts with an A, I think.
Yeah, they have 2 guys that their last name starts Archan, it looks like, or Ahmed.
Ahmed, I want to say it might be Ahmed, but I think one's a defensive guy and one's an offensive guy. Whichever guy's the offensive guy.
Okay.
It's all on offense that they have these 4 guys. But when I found that out, I was just like, this team right here, man, they haven't even played their best brand of football yet. They could be scary. Just like the Cowboys, man. The Cowboys, they're doing what they want right now.
Yeah. I mean, for the Dolphins, every guy who, except Mostert, every guy who rushes the ball also has like at least 3 catches. It seems like they just interchange everybody. Even Mostert's got 1 catch. Like, yep. So I mean, McDaniel, he's that guy.
Yeah, the head coach with the mix of what we were just talking about. If Tua stays healthy, I mean, I think we see how great this team can possibly get each week in and week out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're definitely my number 1 spot right now. I'm drinking the Dolphins Kool-Aid. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Cowboys got to show me that they're not just going to punch everybody in the mouth and then just coast to the win for me not to say they're in the top 5.
Yeah, because that game was weird. Like, I felt like I know the Jets are good, but without Aaron Rodgers there, I felt like the Cowboys should have been able to keep throttling them. And it's like they coasted, like you said.
Well, I mean, as they should, because you know how hard of a game it is. You don't want to get any of your guys hurt. You already don't have Brandon Cooks out there.
Yeah.
You know, but I really like what the Cowboys are doing with Pollard, their receivers, and their little 2 tight end, 3 tight end set packages. So rotating them in and out. And then their defense is definitely the best in the league right now.
Yeah.
We got to get to their toughest part of their schedule, obviously. But for now, they got to stay up there for me. And my bottom's not changing until these teams show me. Obviously, I guess because both my Broncos teams were competitive, the games were competitive. I might could take them out and throw somebody else in there, but bottom 5, bottom 10, does it really matter? You're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean they may not be bottom 5 because you said, like you said, the competitiveness. I'm thinking my bottom. Yeah, I would still think that they're in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, because the Texans could easily be down there. I think for both of us, I think we want to see this team more. But with no usage coming out of Dameon Pierce in 2 weeks, like how much they used him last year, I have no faith in that O-line right now.
Yeah,
for Stroud.
That's
it's just
hard.
It's awful, bro. From a fantasy standpoint, and from just like how is Dameon Pierce not getting 50 yards rushing in 2 games?
Yeah.
So you could easily put them down there.
Yeah, and it's rough. It's rough at this moment when you're looking at these 0-2 teams. I mean, like, you got a basket full of teams right now that you don't believe are 0-2. They're got to. I mean, you can't say the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams, the bottom 8 teams that are all 0-2. We got teams like the Bengals, the Vikings, the Chargers,
Patriots
are
they held their own to even stay in that game.
Denver.
Obviously, Bill Belichick, Denver just competed both games.
Now Chicago, Arizona, and the Texans, I expect them to still be down towards the bottom 5 at the end of the year.
I'm glad you said Chicago. They are underperformed for 2 years in a row now.
It just doesn't look like they're going to be able to put things together very well.
No.
So,
and my other bottom team that like is not in the bottom, it's middle of the pack right now. But if the Jets don't get it figured out at quarterback, in 4 weeks they will be towards this bottom 10 because he can't go out there throwing 3 picks like he was last year all over again. Zach Wilson's story.
No. They got the Patriots coming up next, which, I mean, it's going to be a good coached game. So
you'll get a free agent. I mean, sign Kaepernick, like anything. Like, Jesus. Like, but this ain't the answer. Like, your defense is too good to be letting that guy go out there and tire him out every game.
Yeah, it really is. I'm trying to see. I wonder who kind of free agent quarterbacks are out there, but we're rolling up until about a minute left.
This is the only one that I will say, you can have the last minute. Matt Ryan would be a good plug-in if you wanted to play one more year.
Yeah.
Just because he'll do everything he can to at least get you a 3 and out and not throw the ball to a defender.
Yeah. Man, the thing that just popped up for me was so long ago. Now it's going to tell me who's going to be a free agent after this year.
Of course.
No, I want to know who's available at
Carson Wentz. Wentz would be not a bad plug-in. He's got experience.
Okay. Is Minshew still out there somewhere?
I believe he's backing up in
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much as Richardson runs, they probably don't want to get rid of him. They might need him.
They're going to need him this week.
Yeah, he's going to be out, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Concussion protocol.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you before you see us.